Hi guys, Candy here with My Mobile Homestead. We're going to make quick and easy pie crust. And then at the end of the video, we're going to roll out that quick and easy pie crust. Normally I do not like to buy pie crust at the store because it's just so darn quick and easy to do it here at home and so much cheaper. So we'll get started. I have all the ingredients in this bowl right here, and I'll explain why. And I'll tell you what we have in here. The why is I just tried to do a video and it was turning out very nicely, guys. But I forgot to put the blade inside the food processor. You know, you really can't chop things up without a blade. So, what I have inside this bowl is 2 cups of flour. I have 1 teaspoon of pink Himalayan sea salt, and I have 2/3 cup of cold butter cut into 1 tablespoon chunks. So I'm going to toss this all inside here. Hope I don't make a big old mess. There's that butter trying to make a mess. And it's okay if it gets up here on this thing because it's going to spin off. Hold on a moment. Excuse me while I leave frame. Oh goodness. Okay. So, I'll set this over here. First I'm going to put the lid on, and I'm going to turn this on and let it go until it's all completely incorporated. It's just going to take a few seconds, and it's going to be, you know, have that mealy texture, kind of like little tiny pieces. All right, here we go. See that? I think that was like, what, 10 seconds? All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add cold water that I have in here, 1 tablespoon at a time to about 6 tablespoons. Sometimes it takes a little less, sometimes it takes a little bit more. And while I'm going to run this while I'm adding it. So here we go. I want to let you know what you're going to be looking for in here is this dough. This is going to turn into a ball of dough, and it's going to move around, and that's how we know when it's done. That's how we know when we have enough. I just added 2. So what we have is our ball of dough. It comes out nice and clean. All right, so what I'm going to do next next is I am going to roll this out. What I like to do, oops, I did not get prepared on this one little spot right here. Tisk, tisk, tisk candy. I don't want to waste, so I'm going to get this off. There we go. Okay. Almost cut myself on the little rigid thing. Whoops. Okay, so you're going to take 2 pieces of parchment paper. And then, I'm going to move this over here. You take your ball of dough and you cut it in half. I do not have one of those cool little pastry cutters, so I have to use my knife. Put the other half over here. So I take my flour, just slightly dust. You don't have to use a ton. Lay this on here. Sprinkle a little bit more on top. Sound effects and all. Smush it with my hands. Then take Grandma's rolling pin. And we're going to roll it out. Turn. See how easy that is? You can just turn it. You don't have to worry about this big old mess on the counter. You can just have it inside your parchment paper. And you can, if it folds a little, you can just lift it up. And you can reuse this parchment paper multiple times. You don't have to toss it. It's not like some expenditure that you're wasting money or anything, because I trust and believe I prefer to be as frugal as possible. And the nice thing is I can get this pretty doggone thin. I do like to put a lot of pressure on it, and that's a lot easier for me with my arthritic hands. There we go. And I just get it out there as far as possible. And you can tell about how thin it is, but if you need to, you can just lift up. Go, okay, it needs to be a little bit thicker. Or thinner, a little bit thinner and wider, because what you're going to do is you're going to take your pie pan and you're going to flip it upside down, and it has to be about 1 inch or so past the edge right here, because you're going to have to accommodate for the depth. Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit further out. This is nice and stiff. Lean on the paper. There we go. There we go. And you know what? This is easier and cleaner. So, let me look. Oh yes, perfect. Okay. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel off this. What is that? I'm going to peel off this top sheet, and it's going to come right off. If it starts to stick at all, just move it off. Look at that. It goes right off. Beautiful. Put that over there. Wonderful. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our hand and we're going to line it up where we want it. You're going to take your hand, slide it on under, push into the pan, and flip. Okay? Now, before you take the paper off, you want to lift it up and smush it down in there up to the edges, the very crease on the bottom, as much as possible so that you don't have to do this after you take the paper off. And then, oh, it's already coming off the paper over here. So there we go. Now I can start taking my paper off. I'll start over here since it already started. And it's just going to peel right off. Easy peasy. So I will have to lift it up a little bit to get it down in there a little bit better, but it's already pretty close. There we go. Set this over here. Now, just for the final, lift it up, smush down. I mean, not smush, but look at, this is nice and big. Down. Okay, there you go. Now, I'm sorry, I did forget one thing, which there's always got to be something for me, anyway. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flute the edges. You need to flute the edges before you cut. So what I do is I like to take a fork because it's a lot easier for me. It's, I'm not as skilled with the fancy fluting. There's other ways that you can do, and you could find them on YouTube, because I have been finding out all kinds of cool stuff on YouTube. So I just go all the way around. I lay the tine in the first tine in the last tine hole, and that kind of keeps me even. And then I'm almost done. Sound effects and all. Get it on over there. Okay, so then what I do is I take my fork and at an angle, I cut. I do it at an angle. Don't come in this way, because your crust is going to shrink when you bake it, and you want to have a little bit over the edge or all the way up to the edge. So, and it's pie crust, so it's going to come off nice and easy with this. You could do it with a spoon even. Okay, and then with that same handy dandy fork, you are going to poke, 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 and you're ready. And then what I like to do is I like to take wax paper or parchment paper, and I lay it in here, and when I do all my pie crusts, I just stack them on top of each other, pop them in the freezer, and I have pie crust ready to go. I just haven't done that recently. So, there you go. Quick and easy. All right, guys. If this was helpful, I would love to hear in the comments. And like, share, and subscribe. Love you guys. God bless. A quick note I want to add is, first of all, that recipe got me 3 crusts, single crusts. If I were doing, it would be a double crust and a single. And another thing I wanted to add was, with the parchment paper, I said that you can use it multiple times, and you can, but if it starts to get funky on one side and sticking, you can flip it. That's the nice thing about it. So next time I will, instead of using this side on top of the dough, I'm going to use this side. And the same with this one. Actually, this one still looks pretty doggone good. So I'm going to get several more uses out of this. Anyway, that's about it. Thank you so much.